Hello and good morning. It is so good to see you. I hope you're having an incredible start to your day. Thank you for taking time out to check out this Get Ready with the shade Amaretto. It is a beautiful, just kind of, has so many different tones depending on what you're wearing it with. So if you're wanting an easy go-to look for school, for work, for errands, whatever have you, this look that I'm going to be showing you today is a very spring, summery inspired. I wanted to go more in the direction of peach and mint, just to really make a dark shade like Amaretto a lot more wearable. Here is Amaretto from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. One of the incredible things about this shadow is you can really bring out different dimensions of it depending on what you pair it with, because if you're pairing it with peaches and warm browns and olives and golds, you can really make it look like a reddish brown. And then if you take it another direction by pairing it with mauves and pinks and berries, you can make it look very burgundy. So it's one of those colors that it's a hidden gem of not just the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, but neutral palettes in general, because you'll find shades like that if you go into your LORAC Pro palette, the shade Garnet, or you go into your MAC shadows, the shade Antiqued, or you go into your Stila shadows, something like Stila Sunset from the original in the light palette. It is a very translatable shade, easy to work with. So stay tuned if you want to recreate this look for yourself. I'm going to do a little bit of a different shake up to the format of this because I want to see how it goes, about talking through it while kind of doing a split screen with applying the makeup. So we'll see how it goes. If not, I'll go back to doing a straight chatty get ready with me for the next look with Amaretto and just kind of talk you through the products. But I thought this might be a good way to shake things up and talk about other dupes and things as we go along. So the first thing that I'm going to do to start off this entire eye look is to set my eye primer. I'm going to go in with the shade White Chocolate from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette with a fluffy eyeshadow brush. This one happens to be from e.l.f. It's actually a concealer brush, so any fluffy brush is going to be fantastic at going on and setting that primer all over your eye. So if you don't have the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, any of your matte cream shades will work well. So go in with like Wet n Wild's Brulee, or if you have the LORAC Pro palette, something like Cream or Buff from your LORAC Pro 2 palette, since that's another palette we're going to be bringing in today. So any of those are going to be fantastic. Then going into our lid shades, the reason why I do my cream shadow on top of setting my entire eyeshadow primer is because I have hooded lids. It makes it a little bit easier for me to not have color transfer during the day. So for this particular look, any champagne colored cream base is going to be incredible for this. I happen to be using the Wet n Wild Idolized shadow pencil in the shade Pixie, but if you have Maybelline color tattoos, they're great. If you have Laura Mercier caviar sticks, I would go with something like Moonlight. Or if you have a champagne colored MAC paint pot, that would be another great alternative. Or Julep, that's on the brain because I just got one of their eyeshadow crayons in a champagne shimmer shade. Any champagne base is going to work super well. I also use this to really amp up the shadow that I'm putting on top, because again, with my hooded eyes, a lot gets lost in translation unless I really kind of bring my lids forward so that you see them, because my glasses especially make my eyes look really small. Now, going on to lid shades, the option I'm using today, I wanted to go on and bring out my LORAC Pro 2 palette. If you want to stay consistently inside of your Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, Marzipan, fantastic option. But like I said, I kind of wanted to branch out. So the shade that I'm going in with is the shade Rosé. It's just kind of a little bit more of a peachier gold champagne kind of color. You can also go in with Unpredictable if you have the LORAC Unzipped Gold palette. I believe I only have the Rose Gold palette, so I believe it's in the gold, the Unzipped Gold palette. So just pat that all over your lid. I'm using an e.l.f. C brush just to make sure that I don't have a lot of fallout with that color, that I get a lot of saturation on it. Another combination that I love with a shade like Amaretto is to go through with something like the L'Oreal Infallible shade in Amber Rush all over my lid, or if you have Max Pigment in Tan, that would be another fabulous alternative. So any of those combinations, you're going to get a very similar look to this. It is very translatable from spring, taking it on into summer. Then as we go into transition shades, I decided to stay consistent with my LORAC Pro 2 palette. I went into the shade Nectar. If you want to go with something else from your palette, I would go with a matte peach type, lighter toned transition shade, maybe something like Makeup Geek's Peach Smoothie, or going through, you can translate it and do a warmer brown if you wanted to, so you could go in with Salted Caramel from your Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, or if you have warmer browns in the rest of your collection or warmer peachier tones, have at it, have fun with it. If you want to go with more of a berry mauve type vibe with this look, I always loved mauve from the LORAC Pro palette with a shade like Amaretto and then Amber Rush all over the lid, so you've got options there. And then you can also go into your LORAC Mega Pro palette if you want kind of a, it's more shimmery, but you could use apricot, and then that white chocolate's gonna kind of tone that down a little bit to make it look a little bit more matte. It's more orangey looking on the eye than Nectar, but in a pinch, it also works. Then next, I want to work on my inner corner. So I'm just taking a plain old white eyeliner pencil. This happens to be from NYX, and I'm just going through my inner corner because I really want, I'm actually going through with a mint shade. I really want it to pop my inner corner, especially because once I put my glasses back on, it makes everything look so small and very faint. So that white helps to really make it stand out and obvious. So as you go through, if you're using a NYX Jumbo eyeshadow pencil, just very lightly apply it because that pencil is so much wider. But just make sure that you kind of go into your inner corner and blend it up so that you're really going to be able to see your inner corner highlight as you put your frames back on. And then what I'm doing is I'm following through with a beautiful mint shade. Mine happens to be from Bare Minerals, but if you're wanting a quick alternative, NYX Mermaid is lovely. Or if you have other mint shadows in your collection, bring them out, have some fun with them. The other thing I was thinking, I don't own this palette, but my immediate thought when I saw pictures of the LORAC Pirates of the Caribbean palette was that beautiful kind of greenish shade in the bottom. That would be outstanding as an inner corner highlight. Or if you got the LORAC Brunch palette, tone down that mint shade, use it in your inner corner. Or you could even go with kind of more of your greens and things like that, but just to kind of give that little pop of something unexpected to that neutral eye look will help make it that much more fun and creative from maybe what you're normally used to doing with your eyeshadow. Then next is my favorite part, adding in that crease shade. Here we go with Amaretto. I'm going through with a Revlon crease brush. I'm stamping it into my outer third and I am blending it up on top of that Nectar shade. The Nectar really kind of helps tone it down so that my hooded eyes aren't just maximized. It really makes it more of a subtle shadow difference. Use whatever favorite crease brush you like to use on a daily basis. And like I said before, if you're not using Amaretto, you can go through with Max Antique. You could go on and use your LORAC Rose Gold Unzipped palette, or you could go through with LORAC Pro's Garnet. You can go through with Steel in the Light Sunset. Any of those, like the reddish browns, are perfect for this look. So have fun with it. It'll give you a chance to shop your stash and maybe find some more combinations that you love for similar types of shades. So lots and lots and lots of fun. So as we finish off kind of the eye look, we're going to jump into some liner. I'm currently using what's left of a felt tip liner that I have from L'Oreal in the Black Velvet. I guess it's just the Black Velvet liquid eyeliner. And then I'm going to go on and set it with my black shadow from my LORAC Pro 2 palette, just because this one isn't as intensely black as it used to be, and also too, since I have hooded eyes, I definitely want to guarantee that I'm not going to have any transfer during the day. So whatever favorite black eyeliner you have is fantastic, or you can also go on and use a smoky espresso liner. So any of your favorite pencils, or if you just want to go through and use Triple Fudge from your Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, it will look absolutely gorgeous and give you a softer, smokier look if that's what you're craving. Then to go on to my lower lash line, I'm using my MAC chromographic pencil in NC15 and W20 just to go on and line my waterline to really brighten up my eyes to make them look larger under my glasses. Use whatever nude pencil you prefer, or you can also go in with a white. And then to go on to my lower lash line, I'm going on and using any plum eyeliner that you might have in your collection because I really want to go on and focus on that Candied Violet shade out of the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, but I have to set it during the day, otherwise it disappears within a couple of hours of wearing it. So any plum liner out of your collection is great. Mine happens to be the Revlon Color Stay Eye Kajal in the shade Fig, but go through, like I said, any purple liner is going to be fantastic because you're using it as a sticky base. And then I'm going through with an e.l.f. eyeliner pencil and just setting it with the Candied Violet shade from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. All right. Now going on to the rest of the, all right, the next thing that I'm doing, this is really the way that I multitask my palettes, that I'm having the progress that I do with each pan, that palette update. In fact, I've got one coming up in about a week and a half from now. So one of the big things that I recommend if you are wanting to pan an eyeshadow palette is to multitask your palette. This one is especially great at doing that. Too Faced has done an incredible job of making things very similar. Like I've talked about many times before, I've used Triple Fudge in my brows. It's what I'm wearing today. But with this look in particular, let's go through and use Semi Sweet to contour because it looks very similar to the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. So I'm going through with a Moda brush. I found this at Walmart. It's very inexpensive but great quality. I love this brush, and I'm going through and I'm sweeping semi-sweet into all the areas that I would typically contour or bronze. So I'm going through on my cheek area, in my temples, on the sides of my nose, and under my chin, because Too Faced Chocolate Soleil is one of those bronzers that I love. I don't currently own it because I completely panned it out of my collection. So it was a really fun surprise for me to realize that I have an automatic backup with that eyeshadow from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. So never be afraid of multitasking some of your eyeshadows. Milk Chocolate was another color that I loved using as a very subtle contour in the wintertime because it was cool enough that I was able to go through, especially with my temple area, and just hollow it out, and it gave me a way to use up another eyeshadow so that palette is not quite as intimidating to tackle in an entire year. So have fun with it. Absolutely, it is so great to multitask with this palette. Then going through with some blush. I decided to go with a peachier pink tone. I'm personally wearing the Clinique Cheek Pop blush in the shade Ginger Pop. It's peach, but it has very subtle hints of pink in it, kind of along the lines of NARS Orgasm, not quite so intense. So if you're looking at other blushes that you already own in your collection, I would follow through with like NARS Orgasm, or if you have Benefits Coralista, or any of your peachier pink blushes that are your favorite from the drugstore. You can go a lot of different directions. If you are wearing this look with more of the mauve base, the mauve berry tone, and like something like Amber Rush all over your lid, Rockateur from Benefit is another one of my favorites because it really brought out some of the nude pinks. Or if you have Tarte Exposed, that would be another great option. Like I said, you can go whatever direction you want to, especially if you're trying to pan a blush out of your collection, because I know that's always important so that you are excited and thrilled to reach for that product. So any of your spring and summer blushes are going to be amazing. And then as a highlight, I wanted to keep things consistent because it's taking me so long to get through this eyeshadow, but I'm just going through and I'm multitasking Champagne Truffle as a cheek highlight, and I'm going down the center points of my face. The shadow is taking me a long time because it's such a large pan. In fact, just to kind of give you like the pace of what it's taken me, we are now 5 months into 2017 Pan That Palette, and I am still working on this eyeshadow. So never fear, it is not going to be an easy shadow to pan. You don't have to worry about running out of it super quickly because it'll be there for you, and there's plenty of product to enjoy for months on end because I've been using it on my eyes, I've been using it all over my face, and I've still, as you can see, I have a lot of product. All right, and lastly, as we close out the look, let's talk about some lip colors. The lip I chose is MAC's Amplified Lipstick in Cosmo. It's on the peachier side, but it's definitely a My Lips But Better kind of shade, but just like with any of the other Get Ready With Me's I've posted, I make them where, you know, if I'm feeling like a different mood, I can take it all sorts of different directions. So if you're wanting a great drugstore find out of your collection, Maybelline's Lipstick and Warm Me Up, fabulous. It's a little bit more pink than Cosmo, but it's another great alternative. Or if you have Bite Beauty's Chai lipstick, it has a little bit more brown tones, but very wearable, very appropriate. If you decided to go with more of a mauve look and have the mauve as your transition shade and maybe Rockateur on your cheeks, I would go with something maybe a little bit pinker. Or if you wanted to go deep, you could go with a deep berry, a deep mulberry, or a fuchsia. You can pair this look with a red lip. Just make sure that you have, I would say if you're going to do a red lip, maybe use something like Benefit's Coralista on your cheeks. That way it has kind of more of the orangey tone, so you can really make the red on your lips pop. Since there's just enough pink in this Clinique Ginger Pop, I wanted to make sure that I kind of brought out a little bit more of the nudie peach but pink tones. Or you could go with a nude if you wanted, but like I said, all the looks that I like to create, I want to be able to change up with my mood, be able to pan with the lip color, because when I pan looks, I want to be able to wear it every single day and cycle through things so that I'm not constantly reinventing the wheel. I want to be able to rotate products in, and as I run out of shades, I want to be able to find comparable things, so that way I keep a steady pace through my collection. So I hope that you have fun with this. Let me know how it goes. Have a blast shopping your stash. I hope that you are enjoying your palette, especially if you're painting the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This will be an excellent way to kind of shake things up and maybe try something different. So that about wraps it up for now. Thank you so much for taking time out to watch this video. I know that things are crazy right now, so I wish you all the best. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to catching up with you very, very soon. So see you later.